Welcome to Co-op Mode, round 129. This is the official video game podcast of Secret Friends Unite. I'm one of your hosts, Todd Oxtra from beautiful Sauvage, Minnesota, where we barely have a little bit of snow on the ground, but not much. Joined by Mark, the Canadian Carabin. How are you doing, bud?
I am great. No snow here either. I apologize, though, if the wind is ridiculous. It's trying to blow my door off the hinges. It's crazy today. So no snow, but tons of wind and rain.
Gotta love it. Gotta love it. It's that time of the year. It's so festive. The wind and the rain. We are joined tonight by a man who has not been back on this podcast in almost 4 years. That's Mr. Matthew Kiehl. Matt, how are you doing, man?
I have been sitting in this seat waiting to come back on this show.
It's like that skit on SNL.
The bed sores are...
You're Lindsey Buckingham, man. We don't have time for you tonight.
No, I feel like if I were Lindsey Buckingham, at least I'd have Mick Fleetwood going, "Hey, you'll make some money if you join us on Fleetwood Mac." So
yeah, just come back, please.
Just come back, write a couple of bangers, and we can break up again. It's fine. Hey, I'm great. How are you guys? I have a kid now. That's new.
Right. That's right. You've been married since. So you've been married. Yes, and you have a kid. Those are a couple of big things.
I have a new life now, and apparently what used to be my podcast space has turned into an actual basement, despite being a basement before. But
I mean, you've got the classic podcaster background. You got a baby crib. I mean, you've got
that's a bassinet.
Okay.
There's the old car seat base right there.
Yeah.
Found on the curb coffee table with books that Don Quixote, that's mine, but like
that's a nice looking coffee table though, man. It's like mid-century.
Found it on the curb. It was free in Philadelphia. Who knew? And yeah, this is essentially storage now because you guys know when you have a child, all of a sudden your place just fills with stuff and you don't know where all the space went.
Yep.
But yeah, the Game Awards happened. I'm excited to talk about it with you guys.
Yeah, a lot of things have happened in the last 2 weeks since Mark and I recorded. And that's probably the best way to do our transition. So, Mark, before we get into it, how is this show made possible?
This show is made possible through the power of the internet and through our friends over at Patreon. Our Patreon supporters are amazing. You can join them and see all the amazing, cool stuff that we do over there. For a free 7-day trial, words or things, you can head over to patreon.com/secretfriendsunite and join people like our Friends with Benefits tier, Corey and HD, John Sadorf, the Phoenix Sisters cosplay, Brenna Myers, and Asian Sith Mistress, or our BFF tier, Sean, Stella, and Henry Nias, and the incredible Missy Merchant. Again, 7-day free trial. Head over to patreon.com/secretfriendsunite.
Yes, and as a reminder, Patreons get all of our episodes ad-free from our mainline shows, but they also get a lot of great content. I just recorded a great episode of Spinnerack with Charlie, all about the thing called Clobbering Time. So check that out. If you're on a trial, check us out. And you like it, stick around like Asian Sith Mistress. She just converted, so hopefully she'll stick around and check out more of this, but you also get these episodes ad-free as a patron. So check out our RSS through Patreon and you get that there.
You have one more BFF, I'm just saying.
What?
You're welcome.
Oh,
man, thank you so much.
Matt Kiehl, thank you so much. Well, Matt, so something we do when we get a new Patreon is we have to give you a unique benefit. One of those benefits is we assign you a video. You get one from every show we do. But on this show, you get assigned a power-up by Mark and I.
Oh, jeez.
It can be a monkey's paw, though, because sometimes it can be a useful trait in real life, or maybe it can just be applied to video games. So apply it as it may vary. So, Mark, I know this is on the spot. We didn't have time to think about this. So
I got one. Locked and loaded, ready to go.
All right.
Instantly, ready to go. Awesome. Matt can henceforth, because I know how crazy it is being a new dad and having a little one who's, especially once they start to learn to crawl and they can get into some shenanigans, online gaming becomes an issue because unless they're passed out of sleep, and even sometimes when they're passed out of sleep and shit goes sideways very quickly, you need a pause function, but not just any pause function, an ultimate pause function. And that is being able to pause even online games. You can just pause anything, anywhere, and just be like, there's baby puking somewhere. No. We're pausing this match.
Yeah. Oh, man. I think I you know what? That's a win. That's a win.
Yeah.
Yes. I cannot wait to walk upstairs and tell my wife, Mark said I can pause things now. So,
honey, I pushed the pause button.
I push the pause button. Sleep for as long as you like. It'll be fine.
That's it.
We're on pause.
Super pause. That is the name of the game.
Beautiful. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Okay, Mark, Matt, I think I've got one for you. So you mentioned about, being tired after work. You work hard. I know what you do for a living, and it often is draining and but rewarding. And I'm going to say, in video games and hopefully in life, this can apply. You get that extra 25% stamina added to your stamina bar.
Oh,
that's a good one.
One extra dodge roll.
Extra stamina and a pause. I'm unstoppable now. Thank you both.
That's
I appreciate being bequeathed these by illustrious individuals. Cheers.
So Matt, when you listen to our other shows, you will also get specific bonuses. So listen for those, and I hope you'll enjoy those.
I will. So I've actually when I received the invite, I was like, I'm going to do it on the show and see how they react. Because I mean, Todd, it was fantastic. You guys did great. But also, there have been so many things about your network where I'm like, I don't know what any of this means, but now that I'm a patron and can get it ad free, I'm going to try and learn because I like to learn things. Despite having no energy and no pause button apparently, but yeah, so I'm excited to learn about everything you guys do.
Well, that's awesome. And Matt, I had you as a guest on the interview show. I don't do it very often, but when I do it, it's always a lot of fun. It was basically fansplaining. It was all about music. I love that episode. We have a hell of a good time. So, folks, I would encourage you to, if you are our Patreon member, I also put the Patreon episodes out every once in a while in our free stream, where Matt and I just riff on, I peel his brain apart about music, anything across the board, and we had a great time.
We did. And I'm trying not to be a snob about it.
No. That was like every time I said, I have horrible taste. No, you don't, Todd. And that made me feel so much better regardless of.
No one has horrible taste. They have their taste. That's what it is. Like, and if I were still 15, I would probably say you had horrible taste. But like, I've learned that you only are exposed to whatever you're exposed to. No one knows everything inherently. No one knows what's good, what's bad until they, step out. It's like the opening of The Legend of Zelda. You step out into the woods and you go see what you can get into. Sometimes you have a problem. Sometimes a stranger in a cave gives you a sword and says it's dangerous to go alone.
Or a mixtape.
Yeah. Well.
That's what we need. We need you as the man in the cave giving out mixtapes.
I mean,
it's dangerous to go alone.
I mean, you know what? Now that you're giving me an idea, but we'll save that conversation for later.
Perfect. I love that. Well, Mark would be the first one to say, I don't think Todd always has great taste. And that's because of the next game we're about to play, and that's Buy, Rent, or Return. Sometimes I'm naughty, sometimes I'm nice, just like the holidays. This week, though, I'm letting you gentlemen choose to be naughty or nice with Buy, Rent, Return with Holiday Mascots. I was trying to figure out who I wanted to pick for the mascots. I went back and forth, and I thought this is probably a good round robin of, the usual favorites plus something a little bit newer. And I picked Rudolph, the Grinch, and Elf. Now, the first question when I told my family about this, they said, which Grinch? So I'm like, oh, crap.
Which is the right question. That's the right question. Yeah.
I'm leaving it up to the person, because the one I've got is Jim Carrey. But there's been an, what do you call Bandersnatch Cumberbun? Is that what you call him? He was an animated Grinch, the last version.
You mean
there was a DreamWorks film?
Is that what you're talking about?
Well, was it? No, it was an animated film. It was CGI, and he was the lead. So Benedict Cumberbatch played the Grinch.
I was today years old when I learned about that, and I automatically think that's probably the best one. But
I never saw it, but it seemed pretty good in the trailers.
Okay.
Mark's still like,
I have to look
that
didn't
up. Happen. You just did the Mandela effect on me, did
I'm like, I love the Grinch as a character. I haven't seen that one, so I'm gonna have to look that one up.
Gotcha. Or the original anime
several times,
with Boris Karloff and Chuck Jones, and Elf, modern than Rudolph, the Rankin Bass version, I believe.
Yes,
that's the primary one. I don't know of another one, but there we go. And with that, and fun fact, all three of these characters have music in common. There's an Elf musical. Obviously, Rudolph has music in it as well. And, the famous Grinch song. So with that, gentlemen, I will start with our guest, Matt. Would you buy, rent, and return which ones?
So when I was a kid, I absolutely adored Rudolph. I thought he was adorable. I thought that particular story was really good. My wife is Jewish, so she wasn't exposed to a lot of Christmas stuff, and she's let me sort of like say, hey, this is the stuff that I liked when I was a kid. Would you be interested? And I got to share that with her, and both of us came away from Rudolph going, man, that was some bullshit. So Rudolph can get returned. Like I'm not going to knock the childhood joy of the song or anything like that, but that film sucks. I will rent Elf, and I will buy the Grinch, because the Grinch is, I'll say this, the animated Grinch from, what is it, the 60s or the 70s? The Dr. Seuss Grinch.
It's late 60s, I believe.
So that's essential holiday watching, IMO. I actually like the Jim Carrey Grinch. I didn't like it at first. Like the first time I saw it, I'm like, but also I was probably, nostalgia colored goggles, where like, it's not the one that I know, so it's not the one that I want. But coming to it, later, you're like, oh, wait a minute, this is actually kind of interesting. Like when he's going through his schedule, like 5:30, dinner, 6, solve world hunger, tell no one. Like that's hilarious.
Yeah.
Like really good stuff.
And then you can rent Elf for the holidays, because Will Ferrell absolutely nails that character so well. And if the enthusiasm that Elf has for life isn't somewhat infectious during the holidays, check your pulse. Just saying.
Here.
I saw another great clip from the Grinch of a thing like the Jim Carrey version, when he pulls the tablecloth off the table. All the stuff was supposed to fall over, but it didn't. Like he actually did the trick properly. So then he kind of walks off frame for a second, then comes back in and just messes everything up and flips the table.
Yeah.
Completely ad-libbed on the spot.
100%.
Amazing.
Yeah. Flawless
good
victory,
stuff.
IMO.
Yeah.
The few movies I saw on Thanksgiving Day, I saw The Grinch. Rarely go to see a movie on that day, but I did. Not sure why, but loved it. All right, Mark.
I'm similarly going to return Rudolph without even a moment's hesitation for this one. It's fine when you're a kid, but it doesn't really hold up like to the extent of the other two. Like it's not, it's fine for kids, but like no real adult appeal, right? Like it's just a regular kind of kids show. It's fine.
I mean, the best use of that IP is in Robot Chicken when they're talking about how the abominable snowman, a condom of cocaine burst in his intestines, and he it's
yeah, there's a lot of great parodies. Mad TV did Raging Rudolph, where it was like Raging Bull. Great.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff to like about it, but yeah, it doesn't like compared to these other two. Return straight up.
Okay.
I'm going to rent the Grinch just to be different. Honestly, these two are a toss up for me, but like there's a specific reason why I'm going to rent the Grinch, and that is because in my everyday life, all throughout the year, when I know who's calling me, I will regularly answer the phone one of two ways. And that is Mark's raccoon hats and eye patches. How can we help you? And the second one is Buddy the Elf. What's your favorite color? Those are my two default. If you call me on the phone and I know your number or I see your contact come up, that's how I'm answering the phone. So it doesn't matter the time of year. Buddy the Elf. What's your favorite color is coming out of my mouth. Doesn't matter if I'm home, at work.
I think I just want your phone number so I can call, hear that, and then just
which one is it?
I'm like, I'm just like, oh, how's Mark answering today? Awesome, that's cool. Let's go do some X-ray.
That is, I'll give him my phone number. Go. Let's do this.
How much is it to call Canada these days?
I have no idea. No idea.
For that kind of serotonin, I don't give a shit.
I hang up. Yeah, that's all. So that's why I have a stuffed Grinch plushie from when I was a kid that Finn now carries around. My son carries around for the holidays and loves it. And the Grinch has always been one of my favorite Christmas characters, right up until he returns the presents to all those happy idiots. It's great. I'm just joking.
No, I mean, if you want to be, let's be cynical. They're going to be happy regardless because clearly they were.
Yeah.
I just want to know what the people in Whoville are on because they should share
all the good things. But Elf is so good, and Will Ferrell committed 100% of himself to being that goofy, and it's such a great movie and such a great character. And Buddy the Elf. What's your favorite color? I love it. Todd.
The real answer, they are on Who Hash, as we know.
Right. They say it.
So it's all there for you to pick apart. Yeah. Many levels with that Dr. Seuss. Who knew?
Yeah.
Didn't even hesitate. Cindy Lou, who knew? Yes, we could go all day. There we go. So you know what? You guys are hurting my heart about Rudolph because and you know what? My family felt the same way. So you guys are all on the same page of just, your hearts I'm looking at right now at the telescope. They're all two sizes too small, about Rudolph. But I do love Rudolph. I can sing the songs. I can do, I can do some of the voices, which I love. It's an abominable. Oh no, I can't. Oh God, I'm throwing it off. I made that Hermie doesn't want to be a dentist. I mean,
it's like a bird in flight. I fucking love this.
That was horrible. Take it all back. Sorry.
This is the rest of the show, by the way. You have to do voices.
I'm doing voices, and they're going to be very horrible. Yeah. Don't ask me to do an accent because that'll go wrong and offend many people. So I will say, I will also return Rudolph because it is for a younger crowd, and there's nostalgia, but that nostalgia is pretty thin these days, which is fine. Now, I would say that The Grinch would probably be my rent because that's not a movie I can watch all the time, where I feel like I need a break from it, but it's always fun to revisit, just like the cartoon. And I do enjoy The Grinch. I think that's one of Jim Carrey's best roles. Just love the movie. Also love the story. Basically bringing someone's redemption tale, and we always love that. So that is, and quite honestly, I believe my sister was in tears because she thought she was so mad at the Grinch, hurting the little dog and being mean to the dog. So it made her cry as a kid. So That's good to have your older sister cry, which is good. And then lastly, Elf. Great performance, great movie. It's timeless, and the movie taught me that narwhals do exist. I didn't think they were real. I thought they were a fantasy creature.
Okay.
Bye, buddy.
See, now I didn't hear about narwhals until I was in like my late 20s. I'd never heard of a narwhal, and I think it was actually I might have been in my 30s. Never mind. There was a video game that came out. We'll bring this back to the subject of the show. Yeah, Starwall. I'm like Starwall, and then someone said you're a narwhal. I'm like, what the hell's a narwhal? And then I looked up like, you mean these dolphin unicorns exist?
Exactly.
This is not a Pokemon? What?
They're the platypus of the sea.
Yeah.
It is a Pokemon. They're super crazy like creatures. If you look up anything about narwhals, like there's reasons narwhals can't be caught in captivity is because their blood pressure is so low that when they get stressed out about anything, because they live in such cold temperatures, so their blood pressure is just ridiculously low. So if they get stressed out about anything, they basically just die. So the second they see a human, they're just like, that's it for me. Goodbye.
Honestly, same.
Well,
Wow, that's horrific.
Yeah,
why isn't there a narwhal movie about that? That'd be like a sad tale.
It's bad stuff. Yeah. So don't mess with narwhals, people, but look up and research some stuff about them because they're magical creatures.
So fun fact, actually, it's so unicorns didn't go on the ark. They actually just went back to the sea, and that's how we have narwhals.
Yeah. Science facts.
Win. Yeah. Survival.
All of a sudden, Bill Nye out of nowhere. Well, actually,
who are you gonna trust, me or Bill Nye? Come on, guys.
Yeah. The vein in Neil deGrasse Tyson's head just exploded. Yeah, no.
Well, very good. We did get some comments from below. So, Mark, I'll take the first one. You can take the last two because they're a little bit shorter. Schloss Ritter, our Patreon, says, buy Rudolph, the living nightlight, save on electric bills. So he's very practical. Rent Grinch, the likable scamp who discovers his redemption, but he won't be around forever if he's in his bad guy form. Interesting. Return Elf, just because I've never gotten around to watching it, and the segments I've seen don't seem that groundbreaking, like how everyone says they are. Oh, that's interesting. It's like that hype that doesn't deliver because you've raised it to a bar that can't meet.
Yeah. Interesting. All right. So I'll take the next two. We got the Gaming Together podcast at Gaming Together Pod. Look them up on X. I'm guessing is where you stole these from?
Yeah.
Yep. Okay, cool. So they are going to buy Grinch, rent Elf, and return Rudolph. Very similar, reasonable choices, I'm sure. And Edward Varnell at That Retro Code, buying Rudolph with no explanation. Renting Grinch and returning Elf. I'm very curious if the explanations why are similar and mirror that of Slosh, but interesting choices there, fellas.
Ed is always a conundrum. He is always the one that's like, Ed zigs when others zag.
Yep, for sure.
Well, very good. If you enjoyed this, wait another couple weeks. You'll get another one I'm sure you're going to enjoy and might break apart families. See how that goes. With that, we're talking about what we've been gaming. It's been kind of crazy because last time we podcasted, was it right after Thanksgiving, Mark, in the U.S.?
Yeah.
Okay, so hopefully everybody's had a little bit of time to catch up on their gaming. Matt, what have you been gaming?
So I have very little time to play games. I have very little time to learn a new game. However, I have been playing. I've been continuing my multi-year journey at this point through Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak, and I'm now doing it on a third platform, just because it's something I know. It's something I could just sit down and do. I love that game very much, and Monster Hunter World sort of brought me into the series, and Monster Hunter Rise has made this a thing that'll forever be on my radar. Also, on my commute and my brief time before and after work, I have a Steam Deck, and I have been playing a sim game called 2 Point Campus. It is we are all dads. I don't know what the opinion of both you and Mark is on dad jokes, but 2 Point Campus is so pun filled that it just warms my heart just seeing those little characters wander around. You kind of have to search for it, but sometimes it's just right on the face, because on the campus I'm working on now, there's night school, but it's not PM school, it's KNIG school.
Yes. I need to get this. That's a Switch and PC, right?
It's Switch. It's everything.
It's Game Pass,
it's on everything. It's on everything.
Okay.
Yeah. Also, there's a DLC that I cannot wait to engage with called School Spirits, and it's ghosts. So
well played.
yes. Now this is
stuff.
This is from the folks that made 2 Point Hospital a year or two ago, which I guess are some of the folks who were responsible for the Theme Hospital series way back when. And just to dab this pun-filled pastry with some more puns, in Theme Hospital, people come in with light bulbs for heads because they are lightheaded. And I don't remember. There was a reason people came in looking like Freddie Mercury in the gold jacket, but I don't remember what that was. I kind of want to say it's being dramatic, but
were they under pressure?
Maybe that's it. Maybe that's it. Maybe that's it. But my point is,
not a hot-blooded checking and see. Is there another medical pun? Blood pressure, under pressure, blood pressure,
like that. I don't remember what it was, but like when I saw that originally, I'm like, when I get a PC, I will play that. And then now that I saw the two when I got my Steam Deck, and one of them was on sale, one of them wasn't. And also, I don't think 2 Point Hospital it's not deck verified, but it's playable. So I started 2 Point Campus, and it's so good. Despite being a sim game where you're kind of just spinning pots and holding them in the air, like a sim game. Watching all of it happen. The soundtrack is really good. The way that they do like school announcements, it's very wry and almost like the announcer in Portal. Like they almost always have a subtext to it that is very sarcastic, and it's very wonderful. So I would recommend both of those things.
So I'm trying to envision my mind, because a hospital, it runs, those type of things. With a university, is it like you're trying to do a whole school year? Is it you're trying to build a campus and expand it? Do you want a graduation rate? Do you want to
all of that happens?
Okay.
So you build a campus. You are given one class to start at that campus. Like I think the first campus starts you with a class called Scientography, which I think that's hilarious. Then you can add a second class to that first one called Virtual Normality. But you kind of want to you hire staff, so you hire teachers, you have to hire janitors, you have to hire assistants, especially when things like the school library comes into play. You have I'm in the fourth campus, and that's still technically tutorial, but it's a very autonomous tutorial. It's showing each time there's been a new aspect of this sim that has been added to it, and it's been so easy to take on despite being a long ramp. I felt like I've made progress with every campus that I've been to, and I've gotten to 3 stars on every one that I've done. Not that it didn't take time. I'm not saying it's easy. Like, you have to, there are some things you have to figure out along the way, and those change. I think they change per run too. It's not like a roguelike where if you fail, you're just done. There are just all of these things that being sort of watched, and they kind of want your attention. But you start with a class, you hire a teacher. Depending on what the requirements to start that specific school year are for you, like you could need a lecture hall. You could need something specific in the library for that class, so those students have access to it. During the year, you'll get like, a student needs a records bookcase for an assignment, so you need to make sure your library has that. Otherwise, that kid might fail. But also, you have to try and keep your staff happy, and your staff could, like, from janitors to assistants to teachers, could require different things to be happy. Now, it's not like you're sitting there having to pull things out of thin air. There are definitely ways to find that out, and none of it is really as time consuming, especially since I spend maybe an hour in the morning or an hour on my commute home. And I make progress every time, and it's very pausable. You could just like turn the Steam Deck off and you can come back to it. Might take a second for me to remember, especially in the morning, because coffee needs time to take effect. But at the end of each year, you do like a little awards ceremony. You see all of the students wandering around with little diplomas above their heads, and that makes you feel real good. And yeah, this game is absolutely something special to me. I don't know if it's like a great sim game, and I don't know that because I'm just not ingrained in that space. I saw a sim game full of puns, and I'm like, that's me, and tried it, and I'm having an absolute blast with it. I'm about to start the university with night school, so that's why. So I think one of the university's emphasis is cooking, both savory and sweet, and that's kind of fun to watch. I just got done with building robots at one. Like it's really kind of wild. Like if I say Aardman animation, does that ring true for you guys? You guys?
Oh yeah,
the characters kind of look that way. So realism is not necessarily the name of the game, but you will have a time, and I'll bet you that time is more good than bad.
Matt, I looked it up, and so there are like 3 expansions. So you said School Spirits already. Mm-hmm. There's a medical school and a space academy.
Yeah.
Which is, so it's got aliens, Mark.
Ooh, I like this.
Crazy.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Sounds very good.
It's nice. Real fun. It's real fun.
Very cool. Love it. Very cool, Mark. I see what you're going to talk about. I'm very curious about all of it.
Yeah. All right. So really the only thing I've been playing, I dabbled back into Rocket League, but that's because of something I'm about to talk about. So that's really been all I've been really focusing on is Fortnite. So Fortnite, the last time we talked about an upcoming event, and that event has happened. It ended the OG season, and we've got a new chapter, a new season, and a whole bunch of new stuff. This almost feels like Fortnite 2.0. Like, it feels very new, very much expanded, very like a bigger scope kind of all over. So Fortnite, the new season is a brand new island, some new mechanics, some good, some bad. They kind of like nerfed the crawling speed and the running and walking speed. So the game kind of felt slower, but the storm moved quicker. So people, including myself, were like dying very quickly in the storm. But Epic, as they usually do, has been listening to fans, tweaking stuff and like putting out patches pretty quickly. And the season will continue to improve. But at least, as Fortnite does, they're trying some new shit that way and keeping things fresh. Not sure how I feel about the new island. There's some POVs that are really interesting. Some that I'm like, I don't know. It it feels like too serious or something. Like they took away some of that like whimsy that was in the OG chapter, especially. So like going to something that's a little bit more like, I don't know, high end or something. There's a weird feel to it, but I just have to like get my mind out of like, we'll get OG back eventually. It's on the roadmap for 24. So right now, just enjoy this. But if you're not into Battle Royale, if you've never been a Fortnite fan, it's still a great time to download it and see what it's all about, because there are some crazy new modes added to Fortnite. It feels like Ready Player One at this point. It's ridiculous. So the first one I'm going to talk about, I'm going to like move backwards in the order that I've played the most. So the first one is Fortnite Festival, which is the reason that they bought who'd they buy? Harmonix, the Rock Band developers. Mm-hmm. So Fortnite Festival is their music game, and it's inside Fortnite. It's just a different mode that you pick, and you go in and you're Darth Vader with a guitar, or Batman on drums, whatever you want to be. And
wow, can you do? It'd be cool if you could do the meme like you're cool, but you're not Freddie Mercury on the shoulders of Darth Vader. Cool.
That would be amazing.
That would be sweet.
I'm sure there'll be some sort of emote in there that you can eventually get, and they'll do a Freddie Mercury crossover skin. Yeah. For right now, it's a pretty cool mode. They said that high priority on their roadmap is bringing in Rock Band instrument support. I don't know if they'll put out new instruments, if they're going to make compatibility with old ones. But that's missing. I hate this mode with a controller. Hate it. Absolutely hate it. I've dabbled a few times. I've tried a handful of songs. I just can't get into it with a controller, man. It's just, there's something about it that my brain is like looking at a guitar thing coming down and looking at that Guitar Hero Rock Band style notes are coming at me. And I'm just like, give me my plastic instrument. This sucks. But like, it's cool to see all the characters. It's the mode looks solid. Everything seems to play well. If you can get used to just pressing buttons, I'm sure it's a good time. I wasn't feeling it with the button pressing. I even tried to remap the buttons just to see if I could feel better about it, but something's just not clicking with me yet.
It kind of reminds me of, what was it? Was there a DS Guitar Hero or a Rock Band game where it had
like the little, it had like just the little hand thing. Yeah,
you did that. Yeah, but you're still kind of pressing them as they came down. Yeah. I don't know. There's something weird. My brain's not mapping correctly for this mode. There is another part of this mode called Jam Session, which I haven't tried out yet, but apparently is really, really cool. People are asking why the tracks in this are costing like 500 V-Bucks, which is a little under $5, I guess. Yes. So the mode's free, completely free. And the track list rotates every single day. But if there's a song that you really, really like, one day you can buy it for $5 and you can keep it, or 500 V-Bucks or whatever it translates to. The reasoning behind it, I think, how they can justify this kind of price for one individual track, because like Rock Band used to sell for like what, $250?
Yeah,
something like that.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
The programming behind this jam mode sounds insane. And I, again, haven't tested this out, but I read about it and it sounds ridiculous. So in jam mode, you can go up to someone and start playing, let's say, Seven Nation Army by the White Stripes, and you start singing it. Someone else can come up and start an instrumental part, but they can add a different song in, and it will automatically change the key and tempo to match what the person's singing. So you could have Bad Guys Instrumentals by Billie Eilish with the White Stripes singing a different song, and then get the drums coming in from another different song, and have all of these songs kind of make this crazy mashup. I need to try this mode. I need some like friends to come and jam with me, or possibly just join a lobby or something like that. But it sounds insane. So if that's the level of programming that they've done for every single effing song that they are adding to this game,
that makes it worth it for sure.
Seems worth it. Yeah, because that seems like a crazy amount of programming.
So, Mark, I'm holding up something right now that Harmonix did back in the day, a physical game called Drop Mix.
Yep, that that was at the first PAX Unplugged in Philadelphia that I went to, and I played it there, and it got real messy real freaking fast. But
That's exactly what it is, because you're basically, people are overlaying different parts of songs and things like that, and it was using like a tablet, and you had like the cards, so I can see where they're bringing that in to the mix to do that.
Okay.
And then there was that music game that came out, I want to say 2020, 2021. I don't remember what it's called, but it was like a successor to DJ Hero, where
It was like a live with the crowd, right? It was it was Harmonix did that too. It was like one of their experiments, and I think it was before they got bought by Epic.
And I feel like this is just an extension of that, and that's really, I mean, that's fascinating, especially if they could find a way to program that for any song. Like, you just name 3 songs that you can think of for whatever reason, and all of a sudden they have a way to like beat match it, and hopefully it doesn't sound like a cacophony of pain. But
exactly. It's Benny Goodman, and then it's this and that.
Did you know that Sing 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 syncs up with Disturbed's whatever song right off the bat?
Exactly. Yeah.
Neither did we, but hey, this AI figured it out. And now all of a sudden,
perfect. Aqua, never sounded better. Mark, one question
now
I have
is... Now there's OMC's How Bizarre from the 90s. Do you remember that? I don't either.
I love those mashups. But Mark, one question. Did you say they're singing? Like, someone can sing using a mic? Or no?
No. So no, the singing track is the exact same as any other track. You press the thing, and the actual person sings. If you miss a note, it just kind of goes silent. You might be able to hear.
You might get a boo.
Echo.
There's like an ear or an.
Yeah, it's almost like, if the song's going, like, let's say it's a song by The Weeknd or something, and you don't hit the note, like, you can kind of hear maybe the crowd singing, but like The Weeknd's vocals get dropped. Almost like there's a problem with the mic, or like he forgot the words or something weird like that. And then you'll kind of pick it up for the next line if you hit the note. So yeah, you don't have to worry about like actually singing on pitch. So
darn, because that's what I want. I want singing. Because I want people to hear me and be like, who is that guy?
You walked up to me and started playing 7 Army. You deserve this.
Exactly. We all have microphones in games these days, guys. What's the excuse?
Yeah, exactly.
I'm very curious to see how, if they are going to roll out like new plastic instruments for this, is it just all going to be guitars? Are they going to start to, like, would they release a microphone with 4 buttons on it? Like, I'm really curious to see what their 24 roadmap looks like. That's it. Like, it's going to be an interesting kind of thing. And
don't get me so excited, Todd.
I'd love for this mode to take off, though. It's promising. I just personally, my mind has not yet figured out like the right way to map it. I still, like, I'm looking at those Xbox 360 guitars over on my staircase, and I'm just like, please hook up. And it hasn't so far. So
I still got my PS4 guitar. It's Bluetooth. Perfect. That's the only reason I was so glad when backwards compatibility was maintained. I'm ready.
It goes to work, but until then, if someone's loving this mode again, and I have to try out jam mode, so there's a bunch of stuff that I haven't gotten to because I've been spending way too much time in the other 2 modes, which are Rocket Racing, which is why I've been going back to Rocket League, because you're like, some of the newer cars are actually going cross compatible. So I unlocked a car in Rocket League, and it went over to Fortnite, and vice versa. I unlocked some new tires in Fortnite, and I just got added to my Rocket League account. So this is a super competent racing game inside Fortnite. It's crazy. I was Bumblebee, the Transformer, the other day, and I was racing inside a car. So it was weird to put Bumblebee inside a race car, but it works for some reason. And it's a super competent, really fun online racer. Like, it's cool. Just really, really good. Like, Rocket League is so solid. The driving, the mechanics, everything's great. And just take that and just put it into some really fun tracks. I'm super hooked on it. There's no like power-ups aside from like boost pads and stuff, but there's a decent drifting mechanic that can really help you win or lose a race depending on how good you are at drifting, how good you are. Like, one of the big mechanics is sometimes there's different places that you can go on the track. So like there'll be a track above you and you have to kind of jump, press on Xbox, like the X button and up to flip up to the roof and go on there. And there might be a couple of boost pads up there, or maybe on the sidewall or whatever. So all of those little tiny mechanics or like split second decisions can kind of help you win or lose a race. And it's super addicting, super fun. There's a lot of like secret tunnels and stuff, just like the best Mario Kart stages of like, little secret thing through a waterfall. And that gives you a couple of second head boost against anyone else. And you save up your boost power so you can use 3 in a row if you want to and just kind of zip past everyone. But timing is everything. So it's really, really competent racer. My biggest problem with this is the cost of the extra cars. In all the races I've done so far, very few people are using anything but the default skin because they're selling one vehicle with a few like extra paint jobs and decals and stuff for 4,000 V-Bucks, which would cost you somewhere close to about $40.
What?
Yeah.
Bruh.
I don't know why. It's ridiculous. There's some other ones that are selling for this cheaper price of 2,500, which is still close to $25 if you're buying these V-Bucks. Crazy amounts for like cars. Yeah, they are cross compatible between this and Rocket League, but like that's way too much for a car skin. I don't know. And the price seems to be dictating that there's like nobody using them.
So since they're cross compatible with Rocket League, is it safe to assume that possibly these cars are in Rocket League already and you can get them there? Because I'll bet you people might pay for them in Rocket League and bring them.
I checked that. It's the same damn price.
But see, here's what this is my point. Like, there are people in Rocket League who will want that stuff. They may not bring it to Rocket Racing.
Got it. It's exclusive in this. That's the only way you can get it. So you got to get it this way. Because Rocket League was a pay game first. Then it went free to play. Epic bought them. And then there were people that already bought like the Ghostbuster vehicle, Ecto One, things like that. And I don't know how much
my DeLorean, so you know.
Well, and I don't remember how much they cost back then. And I mean, as a pay game, you should expect them to be cheaper. But when it went free to play,
$9.99 DLC, I think. Something like that. $10.
Yeah, it was never that bad. It was never like $40 for one car. That's insane.
Mark, you always talk about Fortnite, and everybody says Fortnite does like all this content the best way. It's not like super egregious. It seems like it's affordable. You can always get through the things with the season pass pretty easily. You can actually get a season pass by playing, or if you want a skin, it's not too bad. I'm just curious they're doing this at launch that it's so expensive. Typically you like make it super like, oh, it's super cheap now. And then you start seeing those costs increase as people get more engaged in the game. That's interesting.
And that's it. Like the Fortnite skins are still reasonable. Like there's one in the shop last night. I haven't checked today, but like there was one in the shop yesterday for like 800 V-Bucks. A lot of the like promotion, like the Star Wars skins or something, like the more expensive ones, they'll usually come in a bundle, but they'll be like anywhere from like 1,000, 1,200 to maybe 2,000, but they come with a bunch of shit, like a glider and a pickaxe and a character, or like a 2-character bundle for 2,000 or something like that. The most expensive Fortnite characters that like I've ever seen are like 2,000 V-Bucks per character, little under $20. So for one vehicle to be double that for a new mode just seems ridiculous. I don't know. It seems crazy. And like I said, so far I've done a ton of these races and I've hardly seen anyone with any of the paid skins. Couple of people that, I'm sure they're just like, money doesn't matter. I'm going to get this thing just to show off. 99.9% of the people are using the free skins, or they've gotten enough because there is one skin in the battle pass. So if you get the battle pass for whatever it is, 1,500 or 1,800 V-Bucks or whatever, or included in part of your Fortnite crew subscription, which I always get when there's a new season because it pays for itself if you're buying everything. So like if you have that, I'm going to get a skin when I reach whatever level 80 or some shit like that. So right now I'm at like 30 something. So I just really haven't been putting that much time. But like, I know people that are levels ahead of me and they can get that car and then they'll be able to use that one too. But I really hope they get the car thing figured out. Like if they can drop the price of those, this is a great mode. But it's a great mode just for standard skins alone. So I don't really care.
Got it.
Yeah.
So I was going to bring up something, Mark, and I heard this. It intrigued me. You said decals.
Decals. It's a regional dialect thing. There's two different ways to correct it.
I thought he said decos, like decorations, because I've been playing Monster Hunter. And
that's like a joke about money. Dickle. Pay him in dickles.
Nope. Yeah. I've looked up that. It's similar like couch soda, pop soda, or like couch sofa, pop soda. That kind of thing.
Pants, so trousers.
Decals, depending on where you are.
Shoes.
Yeah, I got called on that from someone. I forgot what the person lived, and they were like, it's decals. I was like, I don't know. Everyone always said decals. Anyway, yeah.
Sorry.
Like,
I just feel like,
yeah, that's fine. I'm sure people listening were like, "What the fuck did you just say?" Pardon my French. Sorry, Henry.
That's French. Mode. It's French, and that's the French pronunciation of the word too.
Yeah. The last mode, super addicting, super cool, is Lego Fortnite. They have brought 1,200 Fortnite skins into the mix here and turn them into Lego versions. It is insane. Most of the Star Wars characters are there. Most of the Marvel characters are there. No DC, which I'm disappointed I can't run around like Batman, but or Aquaman Lego versions, whatever. But like it absolutely insane. And it's basically a Minecraft survival mode. You collect resources. You survive the wilderness. When it's dark out and rainy, you get cold. You have to stick to your campfire. You slowly build up like a little village square. I've got people moving into my little village square, and it's not even really built up yet. I can't wait to play more of this mode. I've got some friends that have said they're going to try it. I was talking to them this morning. And the friends that I've played Minecraft with. So like this mode seems like it's going to be the one to bring in new people. Mm-hmm. So far, like I don't
young
think
people
or Rocket Racing are that, just because of the instruments not being a thing. I think is going to keep people away from Festival. The pricing of vehicles, I think, is going to keep people away from Rocket Racing. Lego, zero barrier to entry. The characters you already have work. The characters that you buy in the future are all going to work. Every single thing in the battle pass works in Lego mode this time. Everything. So like it's just built in compatibility. It's free barrier to entry. Download Fortnite right now for the first time, and you have entrance to this full mode. The map is like ridiculous, like 100 times bigger than the Battle Royale map or some crazy crap like that.
I think it definitely needs to be for that.
Yeah, it's insane. That's all I have to say. So if you're looking to play, hit me up because I want to put more time into this mode. I've been putting a lot into the racing mode just because I like racing games, but like as soon as I only fired Lego up the last couple of days, and I've only put maybe an hour combined into it, if that, but like I'm already itching to go back, and like the other modes are very quickly going to be left behind because Lego just seems super addicting.
When I saw that happening, I'm like, this can't just be Lego Fortnite. And then it was, and I was like, they actually just did that?
But kind of, but there's no battle royale. So
right,
far, I don't even have a gun. I crafted myself a sword, and that's what I'm using to fight like wolves and spiders and shit that attacks me.
Yeah, I think I was like, I was in just a group chat, and I'm sitting here like, oh, is this really just Lego Fortnite? I'm like, oh, it's Lego Minecraft. That's what this is. And then I'm like, Lego Fortnite. I'm like, they changed Saves the World mode to Lego. Like, all right, fine. That sounds like a better. That sounds like a better idea. I mean,
back to its original roots.
I don't know. I don't know if Saves the World still exists anymore, but
it does.
It does. Okay, good.
Yep.
But I think that's a wild idea, and I'll save a lot of this for later. But it's one of the things I have thought about in terms of post Game Awards thoughts. So
it just crazy that when I heard Lego was doing this, partnering with Minecraft, $1 billion, and all of these things, I'm like, okay, what does that really mean? And I'm like, it means a lot because it essentially is the not the multiverse, it's the metaverse, where all the characters play, and that's what Lego does. They play in all those worlds. And the only reservation I am worried about, and this is more for Charlie than me, is we haven't heard anything about a new like base Lego game. Are they done with that? And it's like, this is where their focus will be with Lego? Because if it is, that's kind of scary. I hope it's not.
No, I think we'll still get like the WB proper Lego games. I think this is a long-term collaboration. And I think, I don't think you'll see Lego put out this type of game. I think they're
like a Lego. What is it? Universe was one of their games.
Lego survival mode or anything like that. But I think we'll still see Lego Star Wars Skywalker Saga last year. I still think we'll see those types of games, another Lego Batman game or a Lego Marvel game or something like that. But I think these games aren't that.
I think you'll see those until one of them just does really poorly.
Yeah.
And then they'll be like, okay, we're just focusing on this now.
Yeah. So because this game so far, it's not that, right? You can talk to the characters and there's a ton of dialogue you're not going to get, but it's not like they all have that storyline or the specific, like I said, there's no DC characters or anything. So it's not like you're getting Batman coming in and be like, okay, we have to protect Gotham. Let's go over here and build a Bat
or
cave.
Build Gotham.
Right. That's not gonna, so far not seeming like it's going to happen in this. There might be some themed things that you can build, but
it's coming, just like Minecraft does.
It's not going to replace those story-driven games. It's you build your own story.
Very cool. Very cool. Yeah. Oh my goodness. I've downloaded all these because I think you have to download them separately, but they're all within the Epic world. And, if you
if you download Fortnite, I think you get access to everything.
Okay. I was in the Epic app, the game in PC, and it says download now. I'm like, okay,
on PC, maybe. Yeah.
So I want to try them. I just want to try them, see what it is. I will dip my foot in and try it, and I will probably say, yeah, that's cool. And moving on. That's a Todd play. But let's see. What have I been gaming? Super Mario RPG. This is my first time playing this game. And it's a weird one because it's not on NSO. It's on the Super Nintendo Mini or Classic. Yeah, which is weird. Because now I don't know if you can even find that thing. But I always wanted to try it. I heard it's a great RPG, like my first RPG. And I love what they've done with it. It looks beautiful. It's fun to play. They've updated some of the things, make it where you can save anywhere essentially, which makes it very easy. I've heard so much about these characters, Mallow and Gino. I'm like, what's with these guys? And I've met Mallow so far, and he's okay. Kind of a doofus, not very strong unless you use his power up. So, but I mean, the fun about this game is it's
just
very.
Wait.
Okay, I will hold my horses.
That's all I'm going to say.
The writing is very clever. It is a really unique viewpoint. I like the type of, this is my type of turn-based combat where it's interactive. You have to time your attacks because you have jumps or you do something else, your dodges or your blocks, which are nice. So I enjoy those, just like I enjoyed the South Park RPGs. Just really love them, stripped down, fun. So I'm really enjoying it so far. I've got to play more of it, but I think it's the perfect game for the Switch because there's no worrying about frame rate dropping or anything. And it's really cute. I really enjoy it. I'm going to definitely play more of this game, and I'm glad they're doing this. They're going to be bringing out Paper Mario is coming out, or is that the 1,000-Year Door?
1,000-Year Door,
that's coming out as well. Yeah, so I'm glad
the best Paper Mario is coming out. I think that's the consensus on that one.
Yeah, I think so too. And I'm glad that I will get a chance to play that as well, just because I had a GameCube, never played that game. I'm not sure why. So I'm glad that these are giving attention. Nintendo can dig deep, and now these games will sell better than they ever have before. So kudos to you, Nintendo, for doing things like this that make these classics more approachable to everybody. So I like what they've done. So check that out if you get a chance. And then this will lead into our discussion. So our bonus round will all be about GTA 6, the trailer, and then also the Game Awards, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Good, the bad, and the Kiehl? Is that a better one? I don't know. We'll see.
I like that.
I think that's the way. I think that's the
okay.
one. I think that's the
so.
one.
Alan Wake 2 has been the game I've been putting most of my time in. Everything else has been put aside, essentially, at this point. I am probably... I have 20% left. And this game is amazing on so many levels. I had to stop and show my son one of the last battles. I assume it's one of the last battles. It's phenomenal because I didn't realize music was going to be such a big part of this game. And I'm so glad it is. Every chapter, you get a song, and it's wonderful. And I went to Spotify. I found the soundtracks, which is there's also, some of the key ones which you're familiar with, but the other ones are just like, hey, I like this band. It's really cool. It's kind of like when you played Rock Band for the first time. You're like, hey, I've never heard that song before. That's awesome because as you get older, you get kind of in unfortunately, you get into this pattern of typically only listening to things that are in your wheelhouse or in your mixes. So I like this. So I'm getting to hear probably a very Scandinavian style of music influence because that's where the team from Remedy is. They're a bunch of funky people. And it's great. But one of the best experiences I've ever had in a game is in a level called We Sing. Don't want to give much away, but if you like bands like Muse and that type of sound, the old gods of Asgard are kind of telling even like Led Zeppelin, where they would tell a story about ancient mythology, but very operatic, rock, call it butt rock. I don't know what to call it, but it is so much fun because they play with a lot of the characters when the old gods in this game are old. They're like senior citizens living in a home. Anytime they get together and play, though, they show their older versions, which are real people. There's an actual band called, I'm not sure if that's the name of the band in real life, but there's our musicians that play in this game, in this band. And it's kind of neat how they show a little bit dichotomy of old and new. And it's really great. And the gameplay along with it it's just the music pushes you forward and you're enjoying it, having a great time. And the use of visuals blows me away. So I cannot say enough about Alan Wake 2. Love to pieces. If you're getting tired from one viewpoint, I love it that they let you switch characters at pretty much any point in the game, which is kind of cool. So there's really no when I looked at the walkthrough, I'm like, I'm not playing it that way, which is great because you can switch. Kind of like GTA where you would switch between characters and do different things. So I think they've done some very clever things. Yes, it is scarier, but if you can get past that and maybe play it on story mode, so you can get through those sequences that are horrific as soon as possible versus struggle and repeat again. And yeah, I'm loving it. But yeah, I'll talk about one of my favorite events of the Game Awards that will tie into Alan Wake 2. So I love it. And I just got the Avatar game, which is essentially Far Cry cross Avatar from Ubisoft. I just got on Saturday. Haven't had a chance to put it in, but I've got on the Series X from Gamefly. I'm really excited to give that one a try too. And that's probably my last game I will get this year. I did download Baldur's Gate 3 on Steam, and I'm very scared of that game. Haven't touched it yet. I've heard about bears and what you do to bears in that game. It's very scary.
Yep.
Very interesting. Am I right?
Very interesting. Yeah. As they would say. Thank you very much for that, Matt. So that is it, what we've been gaming. So now, for those of you who do get ads, here's an ad from our sponsor. Hey, Secret Friends Unite, let me tell you about Zencastr. We use them for our show, and now they're supporting us. Zencastr is now the all-in-one solution making podcasting easy. It's the ultimate web-based podcasting solution, provides high-quality audio and video podcast production and hosting. With a full suite of professional tools, podcasters can seamlessly record, produce, and publish studio-quality content, all from one dashboard. Being a creator has never been easier. And we chose Zencastr because of the ease of use, high quality output, and it makes it super easy for our guests to come on. We had multiple solutions we tried before, and Zencastr has just been the best fit for us. Why Zencastr? It's now super easy to record a podcast with Zencaster. Log in using your browser and start recording a high-quality podcast right away. Record studio-quality sounds and up to 4K video with your guests. Feel a sense of zen knowing Zencaster's multi-layered backups ensure you always have your recordings in the highest quality, even if the connection is unstable. Have you ever worried what you sound like? Zencaster's post-production process makes you sound buttery smooth. It automatically removes those ums and ahs in your recording. It removes those awkward pauses in conversation too. Set the right podcast loudness and levels while reducing background noise with the click of a button. So if you're interested in making an easy, high-quality podcast just with the click of a browser button, go to zencastr.com/SFU and use our code SFU, and you'll get 30% off your first month of any Zencastr paid plan. I want you to have the same easy experience I do for all my podcasting and content needs. It's time to share your story. Now back to the show. So now it's time for the bonus round. My goodness, gentlemen. I keep thinking we're never going to have busy period. You know, there's going to be lulls in the gaming, and we did not have that. GTA 6 tried to plan a trailer for a specific date and time.
Yep.
That did not happen.
Nope.
Apparently, a Crypto King guy put out the trailer with like a crypto ad, but nobody could figure out what the ad was actually for. So it's like, okay, that was a fail because I don't even know how
Clearly,
to buy your
crypto man doesn't know how to market. Am I right?
Oh, Crypto Bros did not work well. So they dropped a really crappy trailer. I'm not sure how they got it. It wasn't high quality. So Rockstar said, okay, here it is. And screwed up the media because the media's like, we aren't ready for this. And go. So did everybody get a chance to watch the GTA 6 trailer?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I will give you a little bit of background on myself on GTA. I have barely ever dipped my toe into those games. Played a little bit of 3, played a little bit of Vice City. I think I played a little bit of 4 and 5. So I've never really gotten the whole experience. I'm not sure why. Maybe because I'm a nice guy. I don't want to kill people. I don't know, but I kill people in the game. So I can't even explain that like logic thought. So, but this game dropped. It's been 12 years, 13. Yeah. So it's been 10 years since the last GTA officially dropped. Online came out a year after that. So that's where we're at. 3 generations of consoles with one game. So this game is taking place in essentially a very similar environment to Vice City. I can't remember what the name of the town is, but it's in Florida. Or Florida inspired.
Is it not Vice City? Is it not?
No, they gave it a new name.
Oh, okay, I missed that.
And I don't know if it's more of a county rather than city.
Yeah, I think I was just looking at it going, oh, this is just Vice City. Okay, cool.
Well, Vice City's part of it, but there is, Todd, you're right. It's like a larger area, I think, and I can't remember what it's called.
Because I think it shows the Everglades. They say it's supposed to be Miami, but just think of that whole South Florida experience. Everglades, probably Key West, the Keys, all of those things. And the trailer's great because they are fully embracing Florida culture. My sister lives in Tampa Bay. Florida man's there. I laughed because there's a guy named, he's got a name. He's the Florida Joker. And he essentially was in prison. They had his mugshot. He's got like face tattoos. Now he's suing Rockstar for like $2 million because he's saying they stole his life.
The open world state of Leonida. Is where this, and that includes Vice City, which is the fictional version of Miami.
So the sister of Leonidas from 300.
Yeah.
So
this
essentially,
is Miami.
Exactly. Welcome to Miami. Will Smith will be there.
Oh, jeez, that's
you will
better,
love it. You'll love it. It's going to be fantastic. Pitbull is like on every radio station.
Mr. Worldwide.
We are on this game. You know, everybody will be there. But it's funny because it's going full in that culture experience. But the main focus on this game, it'll be a female protagonist with her significant other. And it's kind of like a Bonnie and Clyde type experience, which we've never gotten in GTA. And it does sound like there is going to be a lot of drama with that relationship. And kind of that's it. And I'm not one of those guys that it's a 90-second trailer. So I didn't like look at everything like, oh, they're going to do this and they're going to do that. I don't know. I just got it from a theme and a feel. So I am curious how it goes. Although I would say Florida, I would say it doesn't have a lot of diverse geography except for the coast. And if you get into like the Everglades, it doesn't have like huge mountains. It doesn't get different weather. It's hot and muggy. So I'm curious.
The nice thing about doing a fictional version of a state is you can add those extra little bits. You know, you could add a mountainous region and people are like, there's no mountains in Florida. Well, this is Leonida or whatever the hell I just said. Like it's
Mount Leonida.
You can add some shit that's like not actually in the real life state. And that's why it's fun to have a little bit of liberty with GTA locales.
Liberty City Hills.
There we go. So they can play around with it. I'm sure it'll do that. Absolutely, that was planned. I'll take credit for that one.
Yeah, exactly.
GTA is usually a fun place to drive around. Like even if it's based on a real city, like or a real location, like there's usually some extra little bits thrown in to make it interesting. And that's one of the great things about GTA is they all feel interesting. They all feel alive. They feel kind of real, but like also really fantasy as well. So I have no doubt that they'll hit the right mix with this one to make it kind of like, it's like an amped up on crack version of Florida that's like just everything's just exaggerated and crazy.
Is that possible?
and then Florida's going to look at that and go, challenge accepted.
Exactly. I did see that there is actually someone saw this and there's a map leak and it's going to include an amusement park, which is perfect for Florida. It's called Fred's Fun World. It's got Savage World, Castle World, Quincy World, Spook World, and Next World. And like it's got a picture of a guy that kind of looks like a discount Walt Disney.
Fantastic. Amazing.
That's a cool wrinkle.
The latest
racist they're gonna make
headline.
Oh god. Well, did you see the Florida man where he's in the rain thing holding up the flag with the mullet? He's in there.
So I'm a big fan of the Hitman games. And whenever you say Florida Man, I think of the Florida Man that's in that game, that's in that series, which if you guys want, you should take a moment and Google at your leisure because it's actually kind of worth your time.
I hope you have pet gators in this game.
Well, did you see the latest Florida Man like news bit that came out just a couple of days ago was Florida Man gets arrested for hand feeding a gator. And his defense was he's a nice gator and he just loves bagels. But apparently it's illegal to feed the gators in Florida. So the guy got arrested. One of the first ones I'm like, you know what? Just let him go.
Yeah,
there's worse stuff. Stop worrying about this. Guy's just feeding his pet gator.
Yeah, I feel like that misuse of resources, we can call that.
Right? There's got to be worse things to worry about in Florida.
Who had to pass that law? I mean, is it not anyone with self-preservation skills to think, I shouldn't do that?
Yeah. This gator loves bagels. You know what?
But then again, I'm going to say this: you keep the gators fed, they might not be looking at you as a meal. So
that's it.
Mm-hmm.
And this guy apparently went through the paces to find out, like, donuts, gator not a big fan. Is it just foods with holes in them? Did he try a slice of pizza? I don't know. I want this guy's life to be a movie. Let him out of jail, someone by the rights, and let's get this guy a Pixar
I want this
deal.
man's scientific method right now. This Florida man's scientific method.
He specifically said his gator loves his morning bagel. How did this come about?
Yeah.
I need to know.
He's got a detailed food chart. Oh, doesn't like.
Right? Okay, so I'm going to stick the donut hole inside the bagel. Call this a morning treat, and it's like, nope. Gator didn't like that. Got to be just a bagel. You put a little schmear on it. What is
ate the bagel donut hole 100% intact, and just like, fuck you and your glaze, asshole.
Doesn't have a sweet tooth.
Hates garlic cream cheese. Loves plain green cream cheese. Doesn't like the low fat version.
Somehow wags his tail for veggie cream cheese. Who knew?
Doesn't like generic brands for some reason.
Yeah. Got to be the good stuff.
If you're not getting the Philadelphia cream cheese, I'm not interested.
That's it's better. It's better.
You're expert, right? You are expert on Philadelphia cream cheese.
I mean, no, I'm a transplant. I'm not from here.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
People from here are the experts. I'm just learning.
Okay. That's good to know. That's good to know. So, I mean, are you guys interested in this game? I mean, does GTA speak to you when it comes out?
Oh, yeah.
For me, not so much anymore. And that's not like, I'm not going to sit here and say, I'm not even going to say I don't like the games anymore, because I didn't play 5. When 5 came out, I was looking at it, and then ultimately, like, I decided not to purchase it. And I've not looked at it and regretted that decision. But also, like, there are plenty of like, I played every Grand Theft Auto after 3. I didn't play 1 or 2. I'm not gonna, but I even found a way to play like Liberty City Stories. Like I found a way to play a lot of Grand Theft Auto. I loved Vice City. I loved San Andreas. I loved 4, but by the time 5 came out, the relationship was over. Neither of us were into each other, and we're both glad that the other one's happy. So yeah, I'm totally fine. Like I will look at this, and I will probably experience it a lot. I will probably experience a lot of it vicariously by just looking at things, or like, hey, or like there was that mountain in 5 that everyone was trying to figure out the secret of, like Mount
Alien
Chiliad,
or whatever,
like Mount Chiliad or whatever. I think that's what it was. And then, you know, people found out how to turn into Michael Jackson turning into a wolf from Thriller. Like that stuff absolutely fascinated me.
Yeah.
Was I ever going to play the game to try and do that? No.
Yeah.
But like, I will probably look at Grand Theft Auto 6 the same way.
Fair. For me, very similar. Like I played all like same games growing up kind of thing. And then 5, I did play 5. I didn't completely sit that one out, but never got as into it as a lot of people. I know people that put hundreds of hours into online and just completely finished the entire game, everything they could experience. And like you said, find all those little secrets. Mm-hmm. That wasn't my experience with 5. It was like, I played it. I got my taste of it. I got enough of the story that I was like kind of satisfied. And I was like, okay, cool. I see what they're doing. I'm not going to like put in my 200 hours or whatever to finish this one. I'm going to move on to something else, but like, cool that I have it there. I'll probably wait for this one to go on sale. I'm not going to be like waiting, trying to like, you know, knock down the digital door pre-order kind of thing. Like, but it's usually something that I will eventually try if I have a lull, or if it goes on a good enough sale or whatever. But it's, for me, it's very similar kind of thing to Matt. Like I just, you know, there's limited time in my gaming routine. A lot of stuff now, like, you know, Finn just wants me to keep playing Super Mario, and, you know, we played some Pokemon together the other day, some like Let's Go Pikachu, and he caught his first Pokemon in that. So it was like, that's the kind of stuff that, like, you know, like GTA 6, I can't play that while he's awake, so I can't play it. You know what I mean? Like, it's just how it is. Mm-hmm. Todd, what about you? Are you like, sounds like
because
the skip?
It's funny because GTA 3 came out at the perfect time for me, so I played a little bit of that, but didn't have at that time was in the military, so my opportunity to game wasn't great, so I did dip in that a little bit. Then 4 and 5 both came along when I had a very young child, and then even that's just not a game you can play with kids around. You can't. You're at the strip club. You're doing this. Between language and violence and all that stuff, things. that's something where he's 18 now. Like, so he may want to play GTA. I could care less. He's an adult now. But there gets to a point where it's like, I know some people say, well, I know my kid and he's right. You know what? No one's kid needs to play that game until they are mature enough to understand what the hell's going on. Because guess what? Even kids that seem very mature aren't. They're telling fart jokes to their buddies. They're looking for nudie mags. They're doing all that crazy stuff. I am
44 years old. I still tell fart jokes, sir.
Well, that would be part of being a dad. I mean, that's what you do. And, you hone those fart jokes, Matt.
I mean, if I time it right, a fart joke will be my last words. And that'll make me happy.
On your tombstone. Pull my finger, please.
Here lies Matthew Kiehl, told fart joke as he left.
Yeah, I'm going to have a finger sticking up for my grave. The hand of God. Yes. There we go. So I am curious to check this one out. I do own GTA 5, like the newest HD version, so I may go back into it because people say it's like one of the greatest games of all time. So I just feel kind of like it's a huge gap in my repertoire of gaming. And although I think I liked 5 because of the hopping between different people, and there's one guy, obviously it's horrible. There's another guy that's kind of like the in-between, and then there's kind of like the guy's kind of like the criminal with the, gold heart. So that's kind of nice when you get a little bit stuck. With only 2 main characters, I don't know if that will be like... I've heard there's rumors that potentially someone's actually, like one of them is an undercover cop.
Oh.
Which would add a neat kind of like a Reservoir Dogs or something like that bent, which could be kind of a cool way to do it. Because like you're actually, when you're away, you're actually informing the cops or you're doing something else and worried about being caught, looking about informants. Would they turn on you? That might lead to some interesting situations.
Very, very cool.
But I always hated my car getting damaged, and then you had to do a heist job, get a car, and you get scratched, and you're like, "Damn it! Now I got to do that mission again," because the driving mechanics were so bad back in the day.
Or some days you just have the right, head on your shoulders. You're like, you know what? I'm following traffic laws today.
Exactly. I was the safest driver.
And then you try, and then everyone else is hitting you, and I'm like, what are you doing?
Exactly. It's absolutely. Now, one thing, I mean, we haven't got a new GTA game since, or Rockstar game since Red Dead 2, which obviously was acclaimed. But one of the things that came out in that game, everything was too overly like realistic. Like, I'm opening a drawer, I'm looking in the drawer, I'm picking up something from the drawer, or I killed a guy, I'm going through his pocket. To me, that was just not fun realism, and it slowed down the experience. It was too monotonous. So I hope they haven't gone down the path of like going after reality versus, to sacrifice the fun. So I hope they didn't. I take notes from that for GTA.
Well, I feel like with the story in Red Dead, like because Red Dead 2 was like, I started Red Dead 2 and I got maybe halfway through it, and then I was just eventually like, I don't want to do this anymore. I didn't think it was bad, but I was just done. But I think with the way that story, I did find out how it panned out. There's a certain holding those things up in a way is a shot to make the player think about it. And now I understand that not everybody plays games that way. Not everybody plays games to think about, things like empathy or consequences to actions or things like that. Because largely this medium is power fantasy. Let's be real. But I think the use of that, there's a potential payoff. There's a potential payoff with the conclusion of that game. I could also see that 100% floundering for most players or just being completely ignored. But that is the reason that it's there is it ended up being a very nice thing for me rather than, just wandering by, hitting a button, all of a sudden you have everything that was on that person you killed and you have forgotten about them.
I just want the magnet, Matt. Everything just flies to me, like in Ratchet and Clank.
Yeah, exactly.
Just come to you.
Yeah. Meanwhile, you have dead men's pants just flying at your face.
Exactly.
So.
You got coins in there? I got it.
You didn't realize those belts were magnetic, did you? No.
Even GTA 5, like for as over the top as like Trevor or something could be, like it did bring a sense of realism that I think I kind of missed. The jokiness and stuff of GTA and like the funniness, like I know like the online and some of the expansion stuff, but like there was that like the Ballad of Big Gay Tony and like the goofiness that was inherent in the older GTA games, that it was like, we can't make this look that realistic, so we're gonna play into like the cartooniness and over the top violence. And like I remember we used to just like see how many stars we could get and just keep on
100%.
going. Right. Yeah. And like the older GTA, I think I found like I didn't really do that in 5. Like I found it was more monotonous or like more serious or something like that. So, I wonder what direction they're going to go with this one. I do have a feeling they're going to lean more into the seriousness, but I kind of miss that jokey, cartoony GTA kind of feel from like the PS2 days.
Yeah.
Well, I think what happened was in the lineage, I think Grand Theft Auto turned serious to a point, and Saints Row went the goofy way.
Yeah.
And then Just Cause showed up, and Just Cause 2 specifically just went absolutely silly with its open world. And I think Rockstar could conceivably just take all of that back and own it again. Whether or not they do remains to be seen.
Yeah, they may even say that's what GTA Online's for, and not the mainline games.
Yeah.
So who knows? But yeah, I mean, with Florida Man involved, I mean, I can just see the hopeful antics.
Oh, sure, 100%.
Yeah. Could be some.
Yeah, maybe we see Bagel Man.
Yeah,
Gator's Bagel Shop.
my new hero.
Florida Man's out here trolling for bath salts. It'll be great.
Exactly. Yeah, that's secret engagement in recipe, right? You have to do it in salt water, but it's actually bath salts.
Yeah.
Gotta love it.
We're talking.
Yeah. So we've talked about GTA. So I hope everyone has thoughts on that game. And we've got only 2 years before we have to actually see that game. So, more to come. Probably get another trailer in another year. But with that, we got the Game Awards, or I would like to call it, let's call it E3, Winter E3. With some awards shown. Or maybe like the MTV.
No, it's essentially Winter E3, because the awards at E3 when they did them didn't matter either.
Yeah. So even MTV Movie Awards is probably equivalent to it as well. Yeah.
While we're all lobbing little pot shots that are funny, I am going to say, like, I have a little rant. You'll have to excuse me.
You did say you took notes, Matt. So
well, that's because I wanted to give the actual winners more time than Jeff Kiehl did.
Are we going to have to play you off, Matt?
Probably, but we're on the internet, so you could just kick me out.
I'm gonna start humming.
But like, so I started kind of riffing, and I said some things and I wrote them down. So first off, let's state the obvious. For most people, award shows in general are boring and a waste of time. I think that's fair, because how many of us actually watch the Oscars? How many of us watch the Golden Globes? They're often remembered for different reasons than anyone involved in putting work into putting them on ever conceived. Just ask Chris Rock, or ask anyone that ever tried a little bit of an adventurous outfit, or a host that simply had just been fed up with doing it. Ricky Gervais. That is not to say I think they're unnecessary or unimportant, because I genuinely believe that there should be, in all creative fields, the industrial entity should take stock of its year and award individuals or teams that have achieved excellence. I think shows like the Grammys, shows like the Oscars, the Tonys, all of that is necessary. Those aren't necessary. Like, most of the general public doesn't necessarily watch them to learn about what the best play was, what the best musical was, what the best movie was. Like, they're usually watching for red carpet shenanigans. However, Like that stuff changes over time. As a music and film fan, do I watch or care about the Academy Awards, Golden Globes, or the Grammys? No. The former two cater most often to those in Hollywood at their most and at their most relevant to my interests. I'm not looking at the biggest awards on display. As for the Grammys, my music interest rarely overlaps with the echelon of pop music they're looking to praise. There are awards events out there that are worth my time, but rarely do they get airtime, and going into it here would take too long. If these game awards are to be the representation of the year in video games, they're doing poorer every year for obvious reasons. One, more time and value is placed on the future of games than the current year. Number two, Jeff Keighley, for all of his effort to keep the show going, admirable as it could be, is starting to sound and act like it's way better for he is way better for the industry than his award show. But also show time after time that he's clearly someone who's been lucky to meet and develop relationships in a business sense with many legends of the industry. And he has to remind both himself and us every December because he has the microphone. Nobody else does. And, I was going to write more, but I got home and my son was still awake. So
I love that commentary because it makes a lot of sense for how we think of the Game Awards. I think it used to be called VGX, used to be called the Spike Video Game Awards back in the day when it came out on a channel that doesn't even exist anymore. That was all about babes and Jerry Springer, bad reruns, all of those things. And Jeff Keighley, who used to be on, I believe, GameTrailers.com.
He was on G4. He was on, I think he was part of Revision 3 at one point, maybe.
Yeah, and he's done some great work on like the like basically talking about the development of Half-Life 2, I believe, with Gabe. So he's got a great background and he's made relationship. That's the strongest thing. I remember when he has to have talks with Reggie Fils-Aimé in regards to like would play games with him and try to get more information about Nintendo. So he's always had a very trying to get game people in front of people. But I will say he's similar to, and Mark and I had Victor Lucas on last year, or no, was this last year? Victor Lucas is very similar, but where he's developed relationships, been in the media, and he highlights gaming culture too. So we don't have many people like this that have been around so long that are kind of a face to the industry of people that may not be aware of it. So I appreciate that. And I understand now that we have 10 years of this Game Awards from being on TV, like broadcast television, to now being completely online. The Game Awards does have, I believe, over 100 industry professionals who are part of the board, which nominate games and then vote on them. And there's also a public vote element of this as well. And I believe there's like over 26 categories for this. So that's kind of layering the state of where we're at and talking about what Matt's been talking about in regards to it's kind of a blessing and a curse what we have from even just what a award show is. And we have different takes on it. We have like the Academy Awards, which is a group. There's a board member. There's people that are part of the Academy who vote for it. They're trying to make that more diverse. We have the Foreign Critic Awards, which is part of the Golden Globes.
Hollywood Foreign Press,
yes. And then, so we have very different versions of award shows. We have the ESPYs where people vote for sports people. And then we have the Grammys, the Emmys, the Oscars, and am I missing anything?
Well, I mean, they're also the
Tonys.
The Tonys are Broadway, but like also their guild award shows like the Directors Guild, Actors Guild, Writers Guild. None of those are televised to any degree as far as I know, or at least they have been off and on in my lifetime. Those are the ones that I look at more than like the Oscars or the Golden Globes, because they're not general. They're a specific group of people looking at the industry from their point of view. And I find that point of view fascinating. Now, do I look at the winners of these awards every year? Yeah, I do, because I'm interested in the media and I'm interested in what could be good or bad. So, and the only way I learn about that, because I don't have time to see everything, or definitely don't have time to play everything anymore. And I don't have time to listen to all the albums I want to listen to every year. It's why I don't really do a top 20 list like I used to anymore. But I always want to find something that could end up being a new cool thing, or have me thinking about that particular medium in a different way. And, for all of these art forms that we've discussed, there are the big guys that everybody sort of sees, like your Oscars, Grammys, Golden Globes. They're also the little guys. Personally for the Game Awards, like, I'm full transparency. If I didn't know there were going to be like a whole bunch of new reveals, wouldn't even watch. If I didn't have a 90% certainty that there wasn't, if I didn't have a 90% certainty that there was going to be a Monster Hunter reveal in this Game Awards, wouldn't have even turned it on. I would have went to bed. I would have been fine. Or I would have, stayed up watching hockey, which I do way too much. But that doesn't mean that there shouldn't be a serious award show for video games, because video games is a very important art form. And unfortunately, I feel like the art form is more misrepresented every year by Jeff Keighley's actions on stage. Like, for example, like in the first 5 minutes of the show, you get him, doing shout outs to Enuma, good luck tonight. Or like, we know Hideo Kojima is going to be there because he's been there for the last like 5, it seems like. And most of the time he hasn't had anything new to say. So it's frustrating to watch that. I'm not saying that the Game Awards needs to go away. I think maybe it needs a retool, and it maybe needs to be a thing that is put on by something very similar to the Academy of Motion Picture Sciences or the Hollywood Foreign Press. Is Jeff Keighley going to be the one to organize that? He could. I think he really could. I think it would take him a couple of years, and I think he'd have to take the Game Awards off the table to do that. I don't think he will. And I think that, and as I did say in my little rant, like, he has done a ton of work to keep this thing going. Like, if there's one true believer there, we can point at him and say, he's done his work to get this on every year. And that takes a massive amount of work, more than any of us probably really could conceive outside of our day-to-day. But just because he does that work, maybe it's more behind the scenes work rather than I need to be the one on stage every year.
Yeah.
I'm not saying
that's the problem for me too.
Like, I don't think, I think the wrong look is to have, a Hollywood person come be a second fiddle, because we watched that get proved time and time again. In fact, funnily enough, No Man's Sky developers who revealed No Man's Sky 10 years ago, like, and they were like, I don't remember, it was the guy from Community. What's his name?
Joel McHale.
Joel McHale. Like, that was the one moment in that game where he was like, holy crap, video games are wild. And then the rest of the time he's like, yep, you're just in your mom's basement playing Call of Duty or whatever. Yep. And like, it was funny to see that ship come full circle in a weird way. But I think there are plenty of personalities in this industry that would be better on stage. For in place of Keighley, because I feel like they could do it better, even with, and I'll just throw it out there, even with someone like as curmudgeonly as Jeff Gerstmann is, or as with elf-like enthusiasm for the industry like Greg Miller has. Like, at least they can get on stage and do a job And more often than not,
that's why the Oscars have a comedian typically, because they can engage a crowd, energize a crowd, but then they hand it off to then presenters who are part of the industry that the show is about.
But then they also pay tribute to the industry rather than saying, here's a new reveal. And,
they should have the former winner of the previous year present the award.
Mm-hmm.
Nailed it.
Why not?
Right there.
If they were great about it, they should have knowledge and can speak to the genre.
100%. And you should probably talk about the games that are winning awards more, because
actually show a clip of what the game is they're going to show.
I guarantee you that anybody at that show is not playing half of the games that are on offer there.
Yeah.
Because honestly, like, let's just take a look at some of the awards, shall we? Like, ongoing game. How many people in that audience have played Genshin Impact since it came out? I'll bet you not many, because that's hundreds of hours of content. Who has hundreds of hours of time? None of us do. And it'd be completely unfeasible for anybody to expect that. So
I voted for every category and was not knowledgeable about a lot of it.
Yeah. And so like, and that's fine too. There should be space for that, Todd.
Only allow me to vote for the things I actually am knowledgeable about. No, and I can skip those.
But also, like, if the people in the audience at that show don't know most of that, and I know I sound reductive and like an angry old man. I don't really mean it. I'm not trying to be insulting to anybody at that show, but I can guarantee you that not all of them played everything there.
Correct.
But for those things that those people didn't know about, there should be more information on them. And
I agree.
Jeff Kiehl doing a laundry list between game trailers of people who won awards that they busted years of their ass off of for not necessarily, probably not even for that award, but just to get a game out the door. And now all of a sudden they're just a footnote between, Cyberpunk DLC and Lego Fortnite. No disrespect to either entity, but like, because I'll be honest with you, if I'm a game developer now, which I'm not, no ambition to be one, and I'm told that my game is nominated, guess where I'm not going? I'm not going to the Game Awards, because there's a 60% chance that I'm just going to be a footnote between game trailers, and no respect is going to be put on.
And they won't even pan to the crowd to show you.
Yeah. And if I am lucky enough to even have someone on my team go up there and speak, 10 seconds after they start talking, the music plays. Especially if it's after the guy from God of War said, you all have all the time you need.
So let me pause right there.
Sure. No, I'm finished. I'm finished.
No. So to your point though, they broke down of a 3.5 hour show and how much was for each portion. So 10 minutes were for winner speeches. 10 minutes for winner speeches. And they allotted 30 seconds for each speech. That means 20 people. 20 people. Give them 30 seconds each.
Yeah. 20 people got to actually, stand up and accept their award. Everyone else was just an attendance list.
Well, 40 minutes was for all of like Gonzo, Kojima, anybody who stood up, Matthew McConaughey. The worst one was probably, I like the show, but having Anthony Mackie come up and spend all the time that he did, it's kind of silly.
Yeah.
We got then, I believe it was 20 minutes for musical performances and then an hour and a half for trailers. For a Game Awards. That just gives you the thought right there that this is not an award show.
No, it's not.
It is like the MTV Movie Awards. It is like a show that's more entertainment, and they will present awards, but that is not the focus. And I will say I'm fine with that, considering that there are other shows that are more focused on the awards. There is the DICE Awards, which is Matt, to your point, that is from the it's from the Academy of Interactive Arts and Sciences.
Yeah.
So that truly is a body, and that is a professional board like the Oscars. So it's equivalent to it. There's also the Game Developer Awards as well, which is a board of developers. And then across the pond is BAFTAs, which is very similar to the Oscars. Mark, now remind me, in Canada, there are Canadian awards as well. What are those called?
Couldn't tell you.
Sorry.
They're called mountains, right? Is that what they are?
Canadian Game Awards, maybe the Canadian Game Awards.
Sure.
I honestly, so I don't know, like, regional game awards. I didn't even watch this one. So this will be my point to jump in and just say, like, I straight up didn't even tune in. I didn't watch a replay. Usually in past years, I haven't watched them live in a while. Unless I know that there's something big, and I'll maybe tune in for a little bit when I think it's going to happen. Like, there's a big announcement at the end. Let's watch that. I didn't tune in for a second this year. I didn't care. Matt, I think you kind of summed it up. Like, it's the Kiehl show of, like, who do I know? I'm going to give time to the people that I like. Like, Kojima's going to have his, 15 minutes to yammer on about creating a new genre. And, like, that's cool. Great. Good for the guy. He can do whatever he wants.
Sure.
But, like, when he can yammer on, and I read the headline of, the dude from God of War said his speech last year was longer than the Call of Duty campaign this year. Thought that was great. And then my brother was like, yeah, but then he kept going, and it sucked.
He totally did. Yeah, it trailed off. Yeah, like it was the Seinfeld, that's my time. You should have just walked off.
Right. And so, like, if he had have just been like, yeah, my speech last year was longer than the Call of Duty campaign this year. Anyway, thanks for this award. Peace. That would have been awesome. But, like, to allow him time to yammer on again.
And he was just presenting.
Yeah. Right? At this point, I completely agree. Like, they need a new host. I don't really care about, like, who's voting on what and stuff like that. And that's cool. Like, that you're.
It's all subjective anyway. So, like,
I respect that opinion. Like, I get it. I get where you're coming from. For me, I'd tune in if there was a new host and things were done a little bit, I don't know, smoother or something like that. Like, a little bit balance. Tiny bit better balance. But I kind of disagree with the celebrity thing. I'd love to see someone, but you got to get the right one. You can't just get someone. It's like, oh, this is a big name.
Al Pacino,
right? Jack Black is who I'm thinking of. Like, we don't play video games no more. Like, that kind of, like, energy to it. Even if you want it to be a little bit more serious, get a real gamer like Henry Cavill who can, like, bring that kind of gravitas, like, wear a suit and, like, just, be a badass that also builds PCs and almost missed the Superman call because he was gaming. That guy.
Yeah.
Like, there are some big name celebrities who are also gamers who could do it without, again, being like, just, I'm reading off a teleprompter. They paid me $1 million to do this. It's better than sitting in my house.
I'm in the project. So it's really marketing my project. Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's other ways to do it. But this year I watched the trailers. My brother gave me a little recap. I read a couple of news headlines and didn't watch a single freaking frame of the award show as it happened. So, man, they got to mix something up. And, it's I don't know. I haven't heard good things about it this year, and you guys aren't convincing me to go back and watch it.
It was like Jason Marshall said in the Secret Friends Discord that, like, his words are, Kiehl has been 100% an awful host. Don't disagree with him, but if there was a steady decline of getting worse every year, this was the one where it just nosedived. I mean, it was so patently obvious that he was just doing a very bad job.
Yeah. I think he's had 10 years, and to expect anything will change, there'll be small changes. He's like, we're not going to play off people. We're not going to play off music. Great. Awesome. I would not expect anything to really change in regards to the setup, anything like this, because it's the model. He has to have a lot of ads. He's got to do a lot of these things, and he is self-indulgent. And and none of that will change. You will not get him behind the scenes. And so I think we have to essentially say this is what it is, but we have to start getting people to say there are other places to get a real view on awards that matter from the industry. Start watching those. And maybe that's where the industry, and this is where I'm really frustrated with the whole industry itself. Sony, Xbox, Nintendo are huge. They make how much money? They should be behind this, highlighting their Steam as well. Call it Valve, whatever. Unless they do that, we're not expecting anything different. If Sony, Nintendo, 100%. And PlayStation don't give two shits about this, then guess what? We're not going to elevate the awards portion of it, and we're only going to get like the dice, and where people will say it's there, but never watch a second of it. So I don't know. We're all hypocrites. If that's what we truly want, the numbers for dice and those game awards should be growing every year. And Sony and those guys should be funding production elements, paying for whatever, and make it more like the Oscars, where Billy Crystal would do an awesome opening that would have the funny, like, talk about the year in review and making funny. You can do that effectively. You can have comedic elements. You can have great musical performances. You can show clips of every performance. There's a model that works and it's effective. And to say, why isn't Kiehl doing it? Because that's not what he wants. He wants his show, and to expect it to change when the numbers are probably higher than they've ever been tells him, why should I bother? So I don't know. That's my thought.
I mean, he spent the entire show saying it's about games, it's about games, it's about games. Unfortunately, it's not about the games that came out this year. No. And
or the craft of making them.
And to your point, yeah, I know. I'm a dude in a basement in Philly that has like leftover baby stuff that he's not using anymore. Like, who am I? But like you said, there are ways that this is done well. Whether or not that being done well is everybody's cup of tea, clearly isn't, because most of the time we just remember that time Bjork went to the Oscars dressed as a goose? Remember that time everyone was waiting for J-Lo's, skirt to just fall off and expose your
Remember when Will Smith got slapped?
Remember when Will Smith remember when Ricky Gervais brought up a beer and just roasted the entire Hollywood industry? Like, like that's, no one remembers who won Best Picture that year.
Yeah, the only change this year was there's a lot more security, so no one came up on the Jeff Keighley stage. That was the only change we got this year. So before our wives our spouses play us off to say, "Gentlemen, go to bed," I want to go through this really quick, so in a way that it makes sense. Okay. So in regards to winners and snubs, I just want just a smaller subset of what do you feel like was good and bad about the winners very quickly, because I know we've got to wrap up here.
Sorry,
to be that guy.
I go long. I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. But I know you guys it's later for you than it is for me.
Well, maybe Mark.
Mark's
like I can see him starting to glaze.
A little after midnight right now. I am starting to get a bit tired. So yeah, let's. I'll jump right in. As far I kind of, and that was another reason that I tuned out this year, is because Game of the Year, I kind of figured, I was like, I want it to be Tears of the Kingdom. There's a potential it could be Spider-Man, but I really think it's going to be Baldur's Gate 3.
Yeah.
It was. I wanted the Game of the Year to be Zelda, because I also wanted action adventure game to be Jedi Survivor, but that one had to go to Zelda because Game of the Year went to Baldur's Gate. So that was my disappointment, is I wanted something with Jedi Survivor. I wanted I wanted the cast to get recognized, or the game to get recognized, or something. But that was just me personally, because I love that game and I love the cast and everything else. I thought Cameron Monaghan did an amazing job. I thought the rest of the cast was incredible and gave really heartfelt performances. So I thought those ones were like a personal, I wish they kind of won something more. But and I know they were there. So it would have been kind of cool to see, but that was about it. No massive oh my goodness surprises. I guess Alan Wake 2, Todd, you've been talking about that one. So I expected that to be phenomenal. It won a bunch of awards, right? So between that and Baldur's Gate 3, I think were the two big ones. I figured Mario Wonder which I just like finished the whole story of and all that kind of stuff. I figured that was like shoo-in for family game. So yeah, no crazy like aside from like personal preferences, no crazy like upsets or like surprises or anything. Matt, what did you like?
I mean, same. Like I probably if I looking at the game of the year list, like the only one that I played all the way through. Oh wait, no, I didn't play any of these games all the way through because I still haven't beaten Tears of the Kingdom. Anytime, I'm like I've beaten all 4 bosses. I just need to go do Ganon. But anytime I'm in that game, I'm like I'm gonna go explore the depths, and I will auto build my flying machine and just honestly. What this Zelda is for me more than any Zelda ever has been, it's No Man's Sky.
Yeah.
Like I just fly
follow your fancy.
I just fly around. I put on some music. I'm just gonna vibe. Like, oh, that Lionel's pissed off at me. I'm gonna fly away. He can't get me now. Bye, Lionel. But ultimately, like my game of the year, and based on this list, would definitely be Tears of the Kingdom. But that's because, like Todd, I have Baldur's Gate. I've wanted to play Baldur's Gate 3 since it was announced, and I have a kid now, and I'm like, I can't.
It's only 180 hours long, Mark. What's the problem?
Like, honestly, I'm just like, I'm not ready to learn. Like, because every game you have to learn a little bit in order to actually play it.
It's not a simple game. And it is so many systems.
You know, like I play every FromSoft game that I've tried to play that first mission in Armored Core. But then the baby starts crying. I haven't gotten through it. So I'm just like, I can't. Not because I don't want to, not because I think it's bad, but I just can't. And that's the way it rolls. I'll play it eventually when he can sleep through the night. But until then, like, you know, I'll just hunt monsters. It's fine. But yeah, like it was funny to see Cyberpunk get ongoing game.
That was my biggest, like, that was dumb. I felt like every one of those other games got snubbed.
Yeah. Like, fair. Because every one of those games is a constant stream of.
How does Fortnite not win that game every year? Because every year it's a completely different game.
Well, yeah. I think because Fortnite is the easy one. Not to like because ongoing game really in this idea is kind of just a cipher for we need to give something an award, but it can't just be Fortnite every year. There will be a time, like I'll bet you next year
has it even won though? That's the thing. I don't feel like it's ever.
I feel like it's definitely won.
Has it?
It's probably won twice.
I think so.
Okay. Well, if it has, then I feel like that's good then. But yeah.
But like I've heard great things about the new update in Final Fantasy 14. I tertiarily follow Genshin Impact. My
son loved and devoured that game until he thought the mechanics of the pay mechanics got a little bit too high to get certain things.
Oh yeah, it did. But I played 60 hours of that game free, and it was fine.
Absolutely.
In Apex Legends, if there was ever a battle royale shooter that I should probably be a fan of, it's that one. Yeah. No disrespect to Fortnite, but
if you're a fan of Titanfall,
exactly. Yeah. And then, what was I? There was another one. I was looking at the indie games, and I don't think any of those are actually like indie games. But then again, indie is the most nebulous term to try and define in this game.
I think Chants of Sonar is definitely there because it's a game where I bet if you told a million people, they've never even heard of the game. I've heard a couple people talk about that game, and that's about as indie hell as it gets.
Right. Yeah.
It is basically a game about language.
Which dope.
Yeah.
And then like, no disrespect to like esports player or content creator or esports team or esports tournament. That's not who I am. I don't follow that very well.
I don't know how many people knew any of those people.
I know
to be honest.
A buddy of mine follows Rocket League so hardcore that he'll like send me clips of matches and I'll watch those and I'll be like, wow, that's pretty sick. I'll never be that good at that game. But that's my knowledge there. And then I was kind of shocked that Cal Lightsaber didn't get performance. I thought he was going to get it this time.
Did Cal Lightsaber?
I said Cal Lightsaber. Yeah, that's a that's a joke from the first game.
Cameron Monaghan, right?
Yeah, Cameron Monaghan.
I just want to make sure. I'm like, I don't know him. Yeah, that's funny. Okay, well, I'll go really quick. Just very much. I was pretty much happy with all of these winners. I've played all but Baldur's Gate for the games of the year, so I'm happy. Even though Baldur's Gate I haven't played, I just know how much people talk about the game and what it brought to the table. Very happy for it. My snub was Cyberpunk for ongoing, just because it was continued to get updated, get better, but not necessarily keeping a world alive. So that was kind of a huge miss. But yeah, other than that, I'm really glad that Alan Wake 2 got its flowers. Yeah. Surprised Sony got nothing, but ultimately Spider-Man 2, a great game, but other games were outperforming it. So no snubs there. Good Nintendo for they did the best of any major publisher. So kudos.
Yeah. Shout out to Pikmin 4, best strategy game.
Oh yeah. Yep. It definitely did great. So yeah, there we go. So that is kind of the winners. If you guys want the list, it's out there. So check it out. And maybe you'll find a game that won that you never played. So check that out. So really quickly, just for favorite moments, you get one. Everybody gets one favorite moment from the show.
Can it be a favorite trailer? Because I didn't watch the show.
Absolutely, Mark. If you didn't watch it, I would say then if you didn't have a moment, I'll give you my moment. That is what I talked about. It's We Sing. It is the performance of the old gods of Asgard. Playing it, seeing Sam Lake, one of the developers, one of the ups on stage, dancing and performing. So excellent. Even if you've never played the game, just watch that performance. That was one of those things I just feel like, made me feel so good after playing that level and seeing how well it came together on stage. Best moment of the show.
Nice.
Matt,
do you have a favorite moment?
So my favorite moment it was the moment I watched for. I had a feeling there would be a Monster Hunter 6 reveal, and there was Monster Hunter Wilds. Why it's my favorite, not only just because I'm a recent convert to the series, but also watching. This is the first time I've started watching people react to those, and the way that Monster Hunter bigger fans react to these games is actually kind of wild, because they go into like the ecology of things that you see in the trailer, like why it makes sense versus it just being a bunch of animals wandering around. And then there are some that are bigger and angrier than others. And then some pulled out things that they watch this almost like the way I would watch a movie trailer, where you see composition of shots, you see the things in the background and shapes of things in the background. Those all mean things. And that has been actually wild. Sure, that didn't happen during the show because the reveal was good enough for me. But yeah, I did like a lot of what was on offer for reveals, though. So I will say that.
Okay, Mark.
Genuinely shocking trailer for me was Sega's.
I'm glad this came up. The Sega
Bingo.
5.
I was gonna cover that one too.
Crazy Taxi, Jet Set Radio, Golden Axe, Streets of Rage, Shinobi, all in development, all coming out, like little bits and pieces of each one. The art styles looked really cool. Like, holy freaking crap, that was awesome. Just like the nostalgia factor, just the hype level, like, damn. Like old devs that are still around, like just from those old kind of days, like this is how to do it. That's how to do a trailer. Like, holy shit, go home, everyone else.
Well,
Sega finally woke up.
But just remember the Capcom 5. That's all I'm going to say.
Oh, yeah. Good point.
Because only one of those games ended up coming out, I think, right?
Oh, well, Resident Evil 4, you did get Dino Crisis 3, right? No, was that? No, that wasn't. That was on Xbox, sorry.
Yeah.
I think Sega's going to pull these off, because I think
they're known quantities as opposed to a bunch of new things. But yeah.
So like that was great. I did also like, I have to give a quick shout out to the Windblown trailer.
Oh yeah, the Dead Cells people. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Great trailer. So cinematic. And the gameplay looked cool. But like, yeah, man, Sega was just like, damn, that's how to do a sizzle reel, man. Like,
anyone else shocked that Skull and Bones wasn't canceled?
Still
Yeah.
alive.
Continuously.
Still alive. Play the music.
February 16th.
Yeah, it's like
Is it actually coming out, or is it just another beta?
No, it's
Yes.
coming out. That's the release date.
Oh my God. Mark,
February.
ask for a code. Ask for a code,
know.
Mark.
Yeah. Crazy. Crazy.
Blade being done by Arcane is cool. Like, yeah.
It's going to be great. Although I was, as usual, disappointed with like 2 seconds worth of gameplay or zero gameplay.
Yeah.
Like Blade, Jurassic Park, like those kind of things. It's like, okay, this could be really, really cool. It could be like, whatever. Like until we see gameplay, like, yeah, sell me on it. But like, a lot of the concepts were really cool.
What they showed at Jurassic Park gave me Alien Isolation vibes, and that
survival horror Jurassic Park is a new concept. That's pretty cool.
That was nice, I think.
Yeah. I mean, and really quickly, I think a theme of the awards or the announcements was we're getting a lot of great game developers making like essentially like new games. That's amazing. Like you said, Dead Cells, that developer. You've got the guy that was behind No Man's Sky.
Yeah.
He's got a new game. And it's one planet. One planet.
Right. And that looked more ambitious than No Man's Sky did. I don't know how he pulled that off. But
it's detailed. They said it's like it's world map of the U.S. world, but it's like got fantasy creatures, dragons. You know, like that's cool. I don't care if it's not real. Dragons probably exist back in the U.S. Why not?
Why not? Yeah.
Yeah, Dave the Diver and Dredge got a crossover. That's crazy. Talk about like really fun indie games. But for me, I mean, it's kind of cool how I think Matt brought up Blade. Blade is amazing because this means now that most likely Xbox will get a Marvel exclusive. The team behind that was Deathloop. Deathloop is an excellent game. Mm-hmm. So I know Arcane also did Redfall, which was a vampire game. That's Austin, I think. Arcane Austin. So I'm excited for that. And that's going to be great. But the game that kind of just surprised me, and I love the studio, I love Supermassive Games. They make Until Dawn, those type of games. They're teaming up with Dead by Daylight to make a single player game. I'm like, I'm a happy man. Mm-hmm. I cannot wait. I hope it's a better one of their games versus some of their most recent games. I hope it's more like The Quarry or Until Dawn. Mm-hmm. But that made me very happy. And you know what? I think this was one of the better shows for announcements because everybody showed up pretty strongly, especially like content that's just coming out. Like, oh, God of War is getting a new mode for free.
It's getting not Hades mode. I promise.
Exactly. Yeah.
which is cool. Which it's 100% cool. I think. Like the fact.
And then the last one, just Ori and the Blind Forest team is making a new game as well. I know that studio has some troubles. Hopefully they fix that. But that game looks cool too.
Yeah.
Wow.
Quick shout out, the Genshin Impact folks are making a game that I've been excited for 2 years called Zenless Zone Zero. It looks really cool. That they finally had a full-on trailer. I'm excited for it.
Yeah, I always get those mixed up because I mean Honkai Star Rail is the other one that's out that they did as well.
Yeah,
so, all different styles. So very, very cool. Well, I hear the orchestra winding up to play us off. So it is now time to end the show.
They've played a mixtape and gotten tired at this point.
What is that song? I can't tell. I don't hear very well these days, anyways.
They did Festival for us, and we're just like, nope, we're talking through this
until a big hook comes out. We're not leaving, but. It is the end of the show. This has been a lot of fun. Matt, tell people where they can find you because you're an awesome guy.
So I guess you can find me on Twitter. I'm not calling it what it is now. Infinite_rewind. Don't tweet as much as I used to. Look for me on Blue Sky, Infinite-rewind. That's where I do most of my social stuff. And hopefully I'll be doing podcasts. I also do a podcast about movies that's called Freewheeling It. You can find that on Blue Sky, Twitter, at Freewheeling It. I think we also have a Tumblr as well, Freewheeling It there. And that's really it right now. So shout outs. You ever want to talk, I'll talk, obviously.
He's a man of few words, folks. Follow Matt. He is awesome. And the podcasting world is better when he's a part of it.
Thank you, Todd. I appreciate that.
Mm-hmm.
Mark.
You can find me at mostly Instagram and Threads and hanging out in our Discord channel at _Canardian everywhere. Yeah.
Excellent.
And we'll ask what's your favorite color.
True.
Yes.
And myself, I'm mostly on Threads, Instagram these days. At Toxtra, at Secret Friends Unite is our handles there. I'm still on Twitter, just it's a place to put stuff out and still make sure people are knowing we're there. So that is it for our show. Thank you all. This was a pleasure. And remember, folks, it's always better to game together.
This podcast is part of the Secret Friends Unite podcasting network. Visit secretfriendsunite.com for more great shows, articles, news, reviews, and more. Secret Friends Unite podcasts are available on Apple, Google, Spotify, and other podcast services around the world. If you'd like to be part of the conversation, you can join us on Facebook or our new Discord server, or follow at Secret Friends U on Twitter. Please subscribe to Secret Friends Unite on YouTube and visit our merch store at tpublic.com. Just search Secret Friends Unite. Thanks for listening.